I'm Phil DeLuca.
I'm Nate Burgess.
I am Sean Watson.
And we are Commanderin. Thanks for listening. We focus on topics the community wants to hear about and talk to interesting people along the way, but never, ever talk about three banned topics: religion, politics, and Hearthstone. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, and mtgcast.com by searching for Commanderin MTG Podcast. How about that? We have an excellent show for you this week. We're going to talk about the second of our Halloween series. Nate, what is this episode?
Zombies.
But first, some news. By the time you hear this, Phil's in Japan. So for both of our Japanese listeners, I hope that you make an attempt to find me in Tokyo. It's a small city. It should be easy to do. And maybe we'll play some Commander. Yeah, it's a little provincial town divided up into some 40 or 50 districts.
A couple of Ma and Pa magic stores selling.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah.
I will be going to those Ma and Pa magic stores, including two that have trophy cases, competing trophy cases, because each one has sent a Pro Tour, several people to the Pro Tours, and they've won tournaments. They bring them back, and just like in America, when you win a tournament, you come back and you give it to your local store. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't work that way in America. It's much more individualistic and selfish.
In England, we just punish achievements. If you come home with a trophy, you better be sorry.
Yes, you better be sorry. And your mother will take the time to remind you that, oh, darling, you know that there are better people than you out there. You just must have gotten lucky.
You're being very accurate there. I'm imagining, right, Phil, you're in a Friday night, in an FNM in Japan, right? And you're just sitting there across the table from some guys, and you foolishly got into a Commander game. Everyone is a native Japanese speaker and not an English speaker, and they're just pushing altered art cards around written in Japanese, shouting at you aggressively in Japanese. You tap the mana and they'll just nod their heads. You're like,
yeah,
okay. You put a card out your hand, they all shake their heads. Okay, I'll put it back in my hand. They shake their heads again.
Should I tap my mana this way?
What?
They all shake their heads.
I'm going to cast this card, I think. Yeah, it's going to be fun doing an FNM in a language you do not speak.
Yeah, I'm going to have my iPad with me, and I use Deck Builder and have purchased the camera option so that I can actually photograph all of my cards. As long as I know the set, it will show me the English name for the cards and the English text. So hopefully the tournament organizer, I will be able to convince the tournament organizer that I am not cheating, because we're not supposed to use devices at any sort of sanctioned event. And hopefully just the person understands that I'm just trying to understand what I'm playing.
After Phil's time in Japan, he comes back. What was your record at FNMs? 0-36. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yes, but after 36 FNMs, which would be, I don't know what, 108 packs of cards, maybe I will have pulled an Ulamog.
Foil Japanese Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
Oh, if only they were still doing Origins. But I will be purchasing Japanese cards, so if you, and by you, I don't mean the folks in their cars, sitting around their table, doing whatever it is they do when they listen to our podcast. They're probably, most of them, sitting on the toilet right now. But I mean, if you guys want any particular types of cards, or you want me to find a Japanese version of a particular card, well, I will be there.
I'll send you my Lazav deck list, and just go to town on that bad boy. Yeah. I'll send you some English versions, which will be the normal cards with me putting U's into all the words in biro.
Yeah. And with biro, you mean that's a roller?
A ballpoint pen.
Ballpoint pen.
Yeah. Sorry, biro is a brand. Anyway, I've got another quick piece of news.
Oh, yeah.
Our Scandinavian listeners, particularly those in Sweden, but all of Scandinavia, they are strong and plentiful like the Viking hordes. Ah, there we go. There's some stereotypical commenting.
Hopefully, they don't raid us like their forebears used to.
I don't mind. Because of that, the English people aren't all weak and sappy. Some of us are big, strong lads because of their, millennia ago excursions into our land.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A big shout out particularly to Robin Cass for his iTunes review, which was not in English. No. And now, to show that we're not all culturally ignorant, Nate will read out Robin's review verbatim. Nate?
Robin says, Vi har tagit emot tillräckligt många betyg för att kunna visa ett genomsnitt för har podcasten.
I'm certain that was a great reading.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you didn't put any umlauts in or anything, so I'm just going by what the letters say.
That's true. The reason, if any of that was pronounced or incorrectly, Robin, it was because I didn't put the correct punctuation into the sentence.
That's
the reason.
Yeah, Sean's to blame.
I got one of the words. Guess which one it was? It was definitely not podcasting. No idea what that means.
Where?
Carry on, sorry.
That must be, that's in the UK iTunes store?
It's on the European iTunes store. So the UK has its own separate one. And then mainland Europe, it's almost like iTunes, Apple have decided that England's not, the UK is not in the European Union. So that is on mainland iTunes store. We've got our own, where we can listen to proper music like the Beatles. I don't listen to the Beatles. So, Robin, as said before, thank you, we think.
Well, yes, and that was probably our first lesson in Swedish, wasn't it? At least mine. I'm sure in England they teach you Swedish all the time in high school.
Closest I've got to Swedish culture outside of some of their fabulous alcohol that gets brought over by some of my friends is eaten the meatballs in IKEA, and I've listened to many ABBA songs.
That's funny. I was about to pull up the IKEA catalog and demonstrate my proficiency with the Swedish language.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Swedish listeners, but the names of the items in the Swedish catalogue are just made up. They're gibberish words. They're nonsense.
Now, what's our main topic? You think in Sweden, let's say if there's a zombie apocalypse, do you think it's safe to be in Sweden?
I think Sweden, the perception we get in the UK of Sweden is that it is pretty much the safest place to be in the world. Everyone's polite, the country's clean, they're healthy, the people are good looking and athletic. That's genuinely how Sweden and most of Scandinavia is painted in this country. So I'm going to say, in a zombie apocalypse, send me to Sweden. Stockholm all the way, please.
Excellent. Well, Nate, you as usual have done an exhaustive amount of research into zombie apocalypses, apocalypses. And so why don't you lead this off?
All right, so speaking about zombie tribal, if we go to EDH Rec, they have a feature you can sort by tribes. And if you go to Tribal Zombie, the top contenders are Grimgrin Corpseborn is way in the lead with 170 out of the 223 possible Grimgrin decks are considered tribal. He's in blue and black. Far second is Thraxamundar, 96 out of 308, blue, black, red. Ghoulcaller Giza, 39 decks. She's not even a zombie. She's a human wizard, but her abilities definitely give her a zombie advantage. Sidisi Brood Tyrant is next in blue, black, and green. He's a Naga Shaman. What the heck?
She's a Naga Shaman.
She's a Naga Shaman. What the heck? And next is Micaeus the Unhallowed, and followed by Lord of Tressorhorn.
Let's hear it for the Lord of Tressahorn.
Yeah.
Big dude.
Yeah.
He's expensive, but he's a big dude.
Yeah, I was thinking of my first zombie deck was going to be a Lord of Tressahorn deck.
I got given for free a Spanish Lord of Tressahorn by someone. It was very nice of them. Or, as I like to call him, Senor de Tressahorn.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like commander damage, he's a good start, I guess.
Yeah, I would still pick Thraxamundar, though. Every single time.
Wow. Now, Nate, you have a category of zombie commanders who don't really do zombie tribal.
Yeah, among the zombie commanders, Nekuzar is the most popular, but his powerful abilities lean toward a specific strategy that does not use a large tribe of zombies. It tends to go for making everyone draw cards.
I'm genuinely shocked that Cedri Traitor King is not on that list. You know, on the tribal zombie commanders.
I think he was. I just listed the top ones. I think he was probably next.
I would have if I was a betting man, which I'm not because I would be poor now. I would have had him in that top 5 because he's a zombie and because of his ability to give stuff on Earth. He's thematic. Yeah, I'm really surprised by that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Sorry, I just took the time to pull them up. The you pronounce that the French way, Cedri. We would, in America, pronounce that Cedrus.
Cedrus.
I think
Cedrus.
Probably both are wrong. Nate's got it right. Cedrus makes him sound like he's... No, there's no double E there or an EA.
There are many people named Cedric in the world, and they don't use 2 E's. But they do use a C, so maybe that's enough of a difference there.
But a lot of them pronounce their name Cedric.
Most of them, and the right-minding thinking ones, pronounce it Cedric.
Yep. No, those people are wrong.
Well, he's a French zombie. Grixis. I bet you didn't know that Grixis.
You mean it's
on the shard of Grixis? French is the first language.
sure? I
Wait,
kind of
what?
respect that.
Thraxamundar.
Well, then it's Grixie.
It's Greek C.
My name is Thraxamundar. I'm a zombie assassin. Sorry, French listeners. I will stop doing that voice.
I am Gelever.
Calaver.
You know, now that I think about it, there might be something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Way to go, Wizards, hiding that Easter egg so deep.
Acast
It took
flashbag marauder. Yeah, so we'll stop doing French.
Nekosar.
Oui, oui.
No, I think from now on, whenever we talk about
Grixie.
greasy color commanders, we should definitely use a French accent.
Just pause 1 second while my cat comes in, and now I will close the cat flap. There you go.
And your cat stomps on the rabbit hutch.
No, the rabbits are asleep. So, Nekosar, I think, is... again, back on topic, quickly. Nekosar is a very interesting commander. And he is a zombie, but...
He is the most popular commander who is also a zombie, but he's not the most popular commander who plays zombie tribal.
Yeah, his ability is so linear that it doesn't really... A bit like Jaleva and the vampires. He wants to be doing his own thing, doesn't he?
Yeah, also there's Glissa the Trader, who is a zombie elf, and she tends to do well with a lot of artifacts and maybe Infect. I like Infect on Glissa instead of zombie tribal. And Jared Golgari Lochlord, he likes creatures that get big, such as XX Hydras and stuff.
He prefers creatures that get big by using the graveyard.
Excuse me, Jared.
Aye.
Is it true that you are actually a size queen?
I like big, beautiful ladies. Huge, with massive backsides that I can blow up and smash them in your face. Oh.
Tracts of land.
I got no time for any skinny ladies. The wee lassies, they don't do well in my decks.
Very good. Now back to you.
Leslie was a big girl, and I liked it that
So zombies are mostly in black, mostly in mono black. There are 263 non-legendary zombies in mono black. There are 32 that have blue in their casting costs, and there's a dozen each that have red or green. White, you're not going to see many. There's like 3. And there's 2 non-legendary colorless zombies, and I'm including Adaptive Automaton, of course. The above numbers did not include changelings, so you can add those in.
Chameleon Colossus is weeping right now in a very large corner.
Huge. Yeah, I think. Yeah, but he's all creatures, so he's also like dragons and weeping at the same time.
Well, that was sort of a zombie version of Nate's weeping puppy from a couple of episodes back.
So also a zombie version of Nate's dying Pac-Man. Yeah.
Boop, boop.
I think what we're going to discover discussing this episode is your zombie deck is going to be primarily black, but supported by another color, possibly if you're not going for the
maybe.
mono. But
Ghoul Caller Giza says different, but I prefer blue in my zombie decks.
Yeah, you do.
Shock, horror, revelation. People prefer blue in their commander decks.
So, what are some of the cards we're likely to see in our zombie decks?
Okay, we'll start off with zombie-related enchantments. First one is Call to the Grave. 4 and a black enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-zombie creature.
Yeah. That's a little problematic depending on who your commander is.
Yeah,
right?
if you're playing Ghoul Caller Giza or Sidisi Brood Tyrant, who are not themselves zombies, then you need some other kind of fodder out there. Bitter Blossom is a common culprit there.
Spawning Pit.
hey, come here, fairy.
Yeah, Sidisi can use Awakening Zone or...
Why do you want me? I'm a little 1/1 flying fairy here to help you stab my enemies in the face. Presumably you're going to give me an amazing sword of some description. I can fly over, they can't even block me. What do you want, Commander?
Well, of course, dear, but first I need you to fly down to that little patch of dirt where all those hands are coming out.
Oh, do they want to give me a little stroke?
Yes, they definitely want to give you a little stroke.
Oh, just fly. Oh, God!
Next turn.
Oh, I'm a newly spawned fairy.
Hello, fairy. I have a job for you.
I can sprinkle fairy dust on you. Think happy thoughts, Miss Geezer. Think happy thoughts. You can fly.
And if you're playing Sidisi, you can add Awakening Zone or From Beyond.
From Beyond.
Yeah. So the next enchantment is really a staple in any zombie deck, no matter what color you are. And this is one of the reasons that every zombie deck is likely to include some black in it. It's because of Endless Ranks of the Dead. For 2 in black, you get an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is half the number of zombies you control, rounded down. That is lovely. Even though it requires you to do a little bit of mathematics, it's still quite a good card.
So, Endless Ranks of the Dead gets played. I do have a zombie tribal, not me personally, someone in my paper mate has a zombie tribal. This card never seems to do what you think it should. Because you have to do a lot of work to actually make it start really generating zombies. And if, let's say you get 6 zombies into play, tokens, whatever, you're only getting 3 back in your upkeep. And it makes people want to board wipe on you. And that's what your zombie deck doesn't want, is board wipes. Especially if you're doing tokens, because board wipes kill them even if you've got some sort of Cauldron of Souls out. They're definitely not coming back even with Persist. And yeah, it seems good, but it just seems to never do what you want it to do. This next card, on the other hand, I think does exactly what you want it to do.
Well, I think each of these enchantments each of these enchantments draws a tremendous amount of hate. And so you have to be prepared for that hate regardless of which one you're playing. And, that's fairly standard in EDH.
Yeah. Well, most power enchantments do that sort of thing. But I think Endless Ranks of the Dead draws hate that specifically your deck... It would be like me playing an enchantment in a Jared deck that means everyone has to kill my graveyard immediately. So as soon as you play Endless Ranks of the Dead, someone has to board wipe. Whereas before, it doesn't... It was just like, well, he's got some 2/2 zombie tokens out, that's not the end of the world. Oh, and then your opponent eventually goes, oh my god, they're out of control. Whereas they play Endless Ranks of the Dead, they say they're going to get out of control. So it sort of preempts the hate. It's weird. If you've got a blue in your deck and play Paradox Haze, it's really funny because you get double the amount of zombies and you get them... I think you need to flash it in as well, so you actually get the zombies one time round. It doesn't have to rotate before you get any.
Well, and if you are playing blue, then maybe you have some way to defend your enchantment from...
One would hope.
Instant removal, or your board from being wiped.
Yeah, counter spells. Just be careful. This next card is an absolute house, though, because it starts working immediately, and I think there's a difference, which is Grave Betrayal. It's 5 and 2 black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you don't control dies, return it to the battlefield under your control with an additional +1/+1 counter on it at the beginning of the next end step. That creature is a black zombie in addition to its other colours and types, sorry. And it's got some sweet art of an undead dragon waking up in the middle of Ravnica. That's a fantastic card because you drop that, and then if your board state is fairly empty, if you then board wipe, everything comes back in at the end step under your control. And it's a zombie, so it plays into your tribal theme. If you put down a zombie lord as well, everything's coming in and getting bonuses on it. It's a little expensive at 7 mana, but the effects you get is fantastic. And it's a staple in Marquesa, the Black Rose deck, which you can actually probably build a Marquesa zombie tribal if you wanted. I don't see it on this EDH rec list, but I bet that would be an interesting deck.
She's got lots of options.
Yeah, she's a great card. But in Marquesa, stealing people's creatures with +1/+1 counters on is big and clever. But Grave Betrayal, and it's really cheap. I think it's like 50 cents, that card. Yeah, it's a great card. It is a much cheaper version of this next card, which is a lot harder in Zombie Tribal because it's got white in its casting cost. Who would like to read this?
Oh, this one's a Nate card.
No, I put this on
I
there.
didn't do it.
I put it on there because I run it in a deck with Grave Betrayal. I thought, okay, it fits in with the theme as well. I'll read it as well if you want.
Go ahead.
It is Debtor's Knell. 4 and 3 hybrid white-black, so it has to go into an Orzhov deck. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a target creature card in a graveyard, that's any graveyard, into play under your control. It's not directly zombie-ish, but it fits in the theme of raising zombies back from the grave, and raising creatures from the grave. Mwah, necromancy.
Yeah, that is a theme, but I don't see white-black as a zombie tribal effect. But Graveyard Recursion, like, this would be in a Teriel Reckoner of Souls deck.
Yeah, it would definitely be in an Athreos deck as well, which is where I run one, in fact. But I just think if you're running a lot of zombies and you have a Graveyard Recursion theme and you're in white, so Teriel, Athreos are probably your two best examples. I'd probably run this in a Kalia deck as well, just because a lot of powerful creatures are going to be going into the graveyard. This is a absolute bomb of a card, and you can pull people's big stuff out of their graveyards as well. It's really, really good. It suffers the same problem of Grave Betrayal in that people hate you when you drop it, and it's 7 mana to cast, but we play EDH, we can do stupid things like that, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
Now this next card is an absolute bomb of a card in a zombie deck.
Oh, I'll read it. Rooftop Storm.
Oh, yeah.
5 and a blue. Enchantment. If you want to play a zombie creature spell, you don't have to pay anything.
That's actually what's written in the Oracle database.
No cost for you!
And then there's Stitcher Geralf on that in that flavor text, isn't it? Let those idiot priests tremble. A new era in unlife begins here and now. Oglor, raise the lightning vein.
Yes, master. Yes.
This card is sick.
This is omniscience for zombie decks.
It's brutal. This is big mana, but with a horrific tribe.
It's free though, isn't it? It doesn't cost anything really, because you pay your 6 mana and then dump all your creatures out of your hand into play.
Right. Yeah. Creatures that your hand that you've probably just refilled with Necropotence the turn before.
Oh, Necropotence, we love you. If you're running blue-black zombies and you don't include this card, like WTF, listeners, it has to be in the deck.
Exactly. Something in your head has broken. This is a good argument for Grixis as well, right?
Yeah.
Grixis zombies, you put this in there, and then you have things like wheel effects, and that allows you to restock your hand even more.
So Phil means Grixie.
Oh yeah, Grissie.
I'm not participating in this.
Well, I think we just lost some of our French listeners.
Where?
Well, we probably increased our English and German count. They're the 3 traditional enemies of Europe.
Well, yeah. I don't think France is recommended. Sorry. I don't think France is represented among our top 10, is it? Nope. So,
to be fair to the French, they do tend to do things within their own language. They all speak. I mean, England only speaks English, but the French are very multilingual. But the French are very proud of their language and tend to take their entertainment in French.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not criticism; it's just a fact.
Yeah, we're probably not offending any French people. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So the next category in cards that we would include in zombie decks is zombie sorceries, right? And so we want to make a lot of zombies, don't we?
I really like this first one here. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, this one I managed in playtesting the other night. I managed to cast it and then flash it back. Yes, listeners, we are talking about Army of the Damned.
Oh yeah.
For 5 and black. You get a sorcery that puts 13 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield. Tapped.
Yeah.
So sad.
It wasn't enough, though, was it?
No, it was not. And so I had to flash it back, which of course I could do at instant speed. And 26 black zombie creature tokens wasn't enough either. Yeah, well, no matter how many token creatures you have,
you can't flashback at instant speed if it's a sorcery, do you?
What?
You can cast the card. At no point on the flashback does it say you can cast it out of sync. So all the flashback cost is allows you to cast the card. The card is still a sorcery.
Uh-oh.
Just for future reference, guys.
So it's not an instant with flashback?
No cards. Cards are still cards, so you can't flashback. If you had the ability to flashback a creature, for example, you couldn't flash it back.
I think he did it on his turn.
That's fine. He can do it instant speed on his turn, as long as it's not in the combat step, as long as it's on a main phase.
Right.
Because then it's not instant speed, it's a sorcery speed.
Well, I think I cheated that.
Yay!
No, I think you did the flashback during your turn.
I will take your word for it.
And you still lost.
And I still lost, right? Well, you're no mercy, and then that timely execution of my Death Baron, or that was really unfortunate, because I had everything that I needed on the table, and then you went and took it away. Mm-hmm. You took it away, you bad person.
Go away.
This next card, have we actually played this next card?
Oh, I've played it.
You've played it against me.
Yeah, Siphon Flesh, 4 and a black. Sorcery. Each other player sacrifices a creature. You put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield for each creature sacrificed this way.
That is lovely.
So play it in your multiplayer decks.
Yeah, that's a great card for Commander. It's win the more people you're playing against. It's uncommon as well. Look at that. In fact, I think both these cards are available in the black pre-constructed deck, the Commander 2014 product. Yeah, which there's not long before Commander 2015 comes out, gang. So pick them up. I mean, they'll be available for a while, but pick them up now. They're certainly worth it. Or not.
No, it was, but that was not in the Commander 2014 product. It was in the original Commander product in 2011.
No, I got it in Jaleva. I got them both in Jaleva.
And then Jaleva. Okay, they're in Commander 2013 then. 14. Yeah,
Nope.
2013.
I got them both in Jaleva.
Go get these cards, people. They're excellent.
But you tuned your Jaleva, didn't you?
Everyone tunes their Jaleva.
Yeah.
You can
No, I
basically
think they were
Gatherers-
both in the precon.
that Grizzy
Well.
deck, the Jaleva Nekasar Thraxamandar one, is basically 2 decks. So you decide whether you're going to build Thraxamandar and Jaleva or Nekasar, and then tune both halves accordingly. It was very clearly 2 decks that have been mashed into one in using a colour theme.
It is not in the stock Jaleva deck. I did just look up the deck list. So don't believe Nate's lies, everyone. Nate's Grixie lies.
Filthy lies. Or as the French would say, le lie.
Well, then where'd I get them?
I don't know, but it's a great inclusion. I mean, that's a card that should be in Heleva, but is not.
Nate went out for a
Not in the
drink.
stock.
He had too many. He met a strange man at a bar.
Hang
He
on, I
woke
got
up-
the Obnixilis deck. Let me check that.
He woke up in a bar.
It's not in that either.
He woke up with a copy of Siphon Soul and Army of the Damned, Siphon Flash and Army of the Damned in his pocket. It's all a blur. He presumed he was buying Commander product. Who knows? So why Nate and Phil look up cards
It's not-
on the internet?
It's not.
I'm gonna.
It's not in the Obnixilis deck either.
Look what I started.
it
It doesn't matter. It's available as a
does.
single on the internet for cents.
Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, so
It is actually only 18 cents, listeners. So go out and buy it.
Okay, I
and
don't
then
know where I
forget
got
that you
them.
bought it, and then include it in your modified Heleva deck.
if anyone has
Jaleva.
spare copies of Siphon Flash at home, I want you to post them to Nate Burgess, and just with question
I'll
marks
use them.
drawn over the art. This next card I'm going to bring up is still available in Standard if that floats your boat, but otherwise it's very zombie-tastic for creating zombies. It is Empty the Pits. Now it has a very reasonable and cheap casting cost of XX black 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 black.
No.
And it allows you to put X 2/2 black zombie tokens onto the battlefield tapped. But it also has Delve. And those unenlightened Delve is each card you exile from your graveyard in the casting cost pays for 1. So for every 2 cards you exile out of your graveyard, it gets you a zombie. Now this one is an instant. So if it's late game or your opponent's been milling you a lot, you can go for a blowout, instant instant speed, delve a load of zombies into the battlefield, untap them in your upkeep, own your untapped step, and swing and kill the person who's been milling.
Do you actually play this?
Empty the Pits is surprisingly effective. So I mocked this card when it first came out as being overrated trash. I was very wrong. This card is brutal. As a late game finisher, where it comes down to just the 2 players left, because it's instant speed, it's really good.
So it generates 5 zombies on your opponent's turn.
It generates more than 5. Let's say it's late game and you've got a graveyard with 30 cards in it, and your opponent's end step, delve away your entire library, do the maths, especially if you've got like a coat of arms in your hand, and just go,
So
I'm going to put 15.
So 30
cards is 15 zombies.
30 cards.
Late game, when it's just 2 players left, there'll be, honestly, because I do a lot of graveyard counting with Mill decks and Jared decks.
Yeah,
I've got a pretty good idea of how many cards are in people's graveyards, in pure numbers, including your own, at points in the game.
But you're playing this
Yep.
in a mono black deck because it's got
That's right.
4 skulls in its casting cost.
That's not
4
that
skull
hard.
shards.
One
Skull shards.
skull shards. One Urborg fixes that. And most zombie decks are heavy black anyway. You'll be surprised at just how good. And like that delve doesn't replace the X. So if you have, let's say you have 20 cards and it's a blowout swing in your opponent's end step, you can pay all your mana into it on top of it. My challenge to you, Nate, is cram this into a zombie deck and use it as a finisher. You'll see.
I'll give it a shot.
All because of that word instant written on the card there.
But it requires your Cabal Coffers land package.
It doesn't require it, it just makes it better. It doesn't require it at all. It's not an early game card, it's a late game card, and I'll fully admit that, but it's a finisher. It goes, I win the game. Especially,
you think it says I win the game more than, let's say, our next card, the Zombie Apocalypse?
Let me just reread Zombie Apocalypse.
Which is return all zombie. It's a sorcery for 3 black. Return all zombie creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Then destroy all humans.
Zombie Apocalypse is a cheap Rise of the Dark Realms, which is a card I've put later on our list and we'll discuss. And Rise of the Dark Realms and Zombie Apocalypse are both sorcery speed, so I actually think Empty the Pits is a better finisher. Because you can't see Empty the Pits coming, so your opponent can't react to it other than with a counter spell.
All right.
It's a big commitment. You're basically skipping a turn to bring in.
You're not.
Some
you need
number
4
of
black.
zombies.
If your graveyard is fat enough, you need 4 black. If you're holding a coat of arms, you don't need anything other than 4 black. Because the coat of you instant speed this in at 4 black, and your opponent's end step, cast coat of arms, swing and kill.
Yep.
All right, so that Zombie Apocalypse was one of our board sort of wipes, right? And Nate, what's the next card in that subcategory?
Necromantic Selection. 4 black sorcery. Destroy all creatures. Then return a creature card put into a graveyard this way to the battlefield under your control. It's a black zombie, in addition to its other colors and types. And exile Necromantic Selection. Can't do it twice.
Who doesn't want a black zombie void winnower, eh?
Or a black zombie Pteranodon that comes down and shatters all the homeward paths on the table.
Quit it.
Oh, Pteranodon, I love you so much.
And our next category is Zombie Lands. Dirt.
Yeah, so if you've heard of Volrath Stronghold, it's about a $20 card.
It's so good.
And it's a legendary land where it gives you a colorless mana if you tap it. Or you can pay 1 and a black to put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. But if all of your creatures are zombies, there's around a $4 or $5 card called Unholy Grotto, where it does the same thing except you're only paying a single black to put a target zombie card from your graveyard on top of your library.
Yep, that's both excellent. The Volrath Stronghold is very spendy, but it goes in most black decks. The Unholy Grotto is... I'd run them both if I had them both and was playing zombies.
Sure.
Mortuary Mire I've just dropped on this list as well, because it does this effect once as it enters the battlefield, but it's a common and then taps for a black rather than a colourless afterwards. And it costs like 10 cents, and it's currently in print in Battle for Zendikar.
Yeah, Mortuary Mire is a wonderful inclusion in any black deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Bajupka Bog.
Yes.
Yep.
Literally, I've gone through all my black decks, which there are copious numbers of them, and put Mortuary Mire into all of them.
Yeah, who doesn't like a little slow recursion now and again, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Nate, you've organized the next section. This is Zombie Lords. Command.
These are zombies that give 1 or more bonuses to all of your other zombies. And in Zombie Tribal, there are fortunately quite a few of these. Now, going by 3 drops, starting with Cemetery Reaper, 1 black, creature zombie 2/2. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/1. And you can pay 2 and a black to tap it, exile target creature from a graveyard, like Phil's graveyard. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield.
Very nice. Very nice.
And so our next 3-drop, and Cemetery Reaper is wonderful. I think when I first saw that, I started considering a zombie deck, but never actually built it. And then there's Lord of the Undead, which I think I first saw you play, Nate.
Yep.
And that's a creature zombie for 1 and black. Creature zombie 2/2. Other zombie creatures get +1/+1. And with Cemetery Reaper out, of course, and they just mutually benefit each other. And for 1 and a black and tap, you can return target zombie card from your graveyard directly to your hand.
Not to your library, to your hand.
Not to your library. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And there are some wonderful short loop combos that you can get out of that.
Rooftop Storm.
Yep. And Gisa is pretty good at executing one of the later cards that we'll talk about. And it's good because you can execute it, bring it back to play, execute it again. It's good stuff. So what's the next of our 3-drop lords?
Death Baron.
Yeah.
This is an expensive one. This is an expensive one.
Yeah, well, he's good.
Pounds-wise. Yeah, I don't know if there's a deck that in Modern or something that runs him, but he's got a good dollar tag on him.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much?
How much is it
Over
for?
$12.
Yeah. So he's 1 and 2 black for a creature zombie wizard 2/2. Skeleton creatures you control and other zombies you control get +1/+1 and have death touch, which is vile. That is such a horrible ability to give what is essentially a bunch of 1/1 and 2/2 creatures. I guess because he's out in play, that'll be 2/2 and 3/3s. We're suddenly making a horde of 2/2 and 3/3 death touching zombies is gross.
Yep. So you got to kill the Death Baron.
Yeah,
You gotta kill the Death Baron.
Death Baron of all these lords should be the top choice.
Yeah, which not only removes Death Touch from your zombie horde, maybe 26 zombies that you've just created through flashing back a card or two, but then it makes them weaker and can no longer kill your opponent who has 70 life. Just saying. I mean, I'll eventually recover from all that. I'll get over it.
Not enough damage.
No, Vishkal.
It was a lot of damage, but not enough.
So he was doing.
Yeah, it was a lot of damage.
He was doing this to me the other day, but luckily I had a quieter spike, but it still wasn't enough. This next one is probably my favourite zombie lord.
Because he's
yeah.
in Demir.
Yeah. And his third ability, is very powerful.
Go on.
Someone else read it. I've read the last one.
Diregraph Captain. 1 blue black. Creature zombie soldier. 2/2. Death touch. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. And whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that's dirty.
Count up the number of zombies you've got, and whoever board wipes takes that much damage.
What a deterrent.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to spot remove him on his own fast. Otherwise, it just puts you off killing any zombie on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Also, killing any zombie that player controls. And then there's the OZ, original Zangster, Zombie Master. He's a 1 and 2 black for a 2/3 zombie. The
original Zangster.
The OZ.
Sorry.
Did that take a second?
No, I was muted. I didn't realize it. And yeah, that's funny.
All zombies in play gain Swamp Walk, which can be relevant because you might be running Urborg. So which then it reads all zombies you have are unblockable, and pay 1 black, regenerate target zombie. Yeah,
I've won with that and Urborg in play as well.
Yeah, I bet you have. Yeah, but against me you don't need the Urborg because I run black in everything apart from Maelstrom Wanderer.
Yeah, you do. So is he an
Yeah.
OZ?
Well, he is in my country, but that doesn't rhyme as well. But saying that, we don't really have a lot of gangster rap in this country.
Not big on that. England is. Huh?
It's popular, but it's definitely more an underground thing. But there you go.
You know, they say the zombie master controlled these foul creatures even before his own death, but now that he is one of them, nothing can make them betray him.
Really?
All right.
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
That's,
People are saying.
I've just heard people talking
being
about
the card.
People might say that about the Zombie Master, but I heard there's a card that has the strength of 7 men. In fact, it used to be 7 men.
Oh, wait, there's always Adaptive Automaton with the 3 drops. But moving on to the 4 drops, we got Undead Warchief. He's 2 black, creature zombie, 1/1, but zombie spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast, and zombie creatures, not other zombie creatures, but zombie creatures you control get +2/+1. So this is the same as the Oracle text, and unlike most lords, he does give the bonus to himself as well. So in normal situations, he's a 3/2.
Yeah, because 4 mana for a 1/1 would be pretty poor normally, but 4 mana for a 3/2 is alright. A little low, but then the other thing, reducing the CMC is actually very good.
There was a cycle of war chiefs, wasn't there? So that if you're playing tribal in any of those tribes with the war chiefs, they all get similar benefits.
I know there's a Goblin Warchief.
There's probably a Elf Warchief and a Dragon Warchief.
Yeah, I just looked it up. There's a Daru war chief. That's where for humans. Goblin war chief, Croson. Croson. Oh,
That guy looks weird.
Crosan war chief. Mistform war chief. Even a fairies band war chief, but that came later.
Yeah. This next card I like a lot. Also in standard.
Well, if you like it so much, why don't you read it?
Risen Executioner, 2 and 2 black. He's a creature zombie warrior. It's a 4/3. Can't block though. Risen Executioner cannot block.
Uh-oh.
Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. You may cast Risen Executioner from your graveyard if you pay 1 colourless additional more to its casting cost for each other creature card in your graveyard. So it was designed to chime in with Delve, so you could get it back quickly with Delve. But in Commander you tend to have more mana anyway, so it's a 4/3 Lord that keeps coming back. Very nice.
Yeah, built-in recursion.
Yeah, comes with it. Just a pain in the backside.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know if I saw you play it, Nate, but I saw that and included it. I just didn't have a chance to play it. I actually have one of these.
Yeah, I played it
around.
He used it on me, and I eventually had to exile it by Puppeteer cleaking out of his library, his graveyard, just because it kept coming back. Yeah, I think...
Yeah, it's like, stop it, go away.
4/3 as well. It's like, sod off.
Yeah, it's a little beefier.
So, Nate's got here. So we spoke in our Vampire Tribal last week about the standard tribal deck anthem effects that are artifacts. So the 3 of them were Door of Destinies, Coat of Arms, Obelisk of Erd. Coat of Arms must only be used responsibly. The other 2.
That's right. You would not necessarily use that against while playing against a goblin deck.
No.
Nah.
Because it's super symmetrical.
Nah, any token deck, it's dangerous.
Token deck. The token player loves you if you drop that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the timing on dropping the coat of arms is essential.
Yes. Yeah.
So is that it for our lords?
Nope, there's another 6-drop.
Oh,
he's
It's
so
another
good.
zombie that can in fact work with any non-human tribe in black. He's Micaeus the Unhallowed. 3 black. Legendary creature, zombie cleric. 5/5. Ha! Intimidate. Whenever a human... Puny humans. Whenever a human deals damage to you, destroy it. Other non-human creatures you control get +1/+1, and have Undying.
Oh.
So there's several ways of making that go infinite.
Triskelion.
Triskeliion's the obvious one, yeah. Which
He
is
shows up in Marquesa a lot.
Yeah, so Triskelion makes Mikaeus go infinite because it machine guns everyone for infinite damage. Not that we promote that sort of thing, but yeah, it's quite good. Any creature that allows you to remove a +1/+1 counter off it to do an effect loves Mikaeus. Absolutely loves Mikaeus. Also, if you put this in a green-black deck that has, or in fact, any creature, not just green-black, any creature with Persist, Mikaeus allows you to go, essentially use it over and over again, because the creature comes back into play with a +1 and a -1 counter on it from the Undying trigger and the Persist trigger, and they cancel each other out.
Yeah, like if you're playing blue and black, as you are wont to do, and willing to deviate a little bit from the tribal aspect, you can always play with the Glen Elendra Archmage and control everything. So if you get Mikaeus out and Glen Elendra Archmage, you own it. It's over. Well, it's almost over. You just have to kill your opponents, yeah.
You have to find because Glen Elendra can't counter creature spells, so you need to find a creature that can remove Mikaeus from the table, because he doesn't give himself Undying.
Yep, which pretty much means green fightin' or red enter the battlefield does damage.
Yeah. If a Marquesa player drops Mikaeus in a Glen Elendra Archmage and manages to get the token on Mikaeus, it's game over. He cannot be removed from the table.
Yeah. And so if he is removed from the table, fortunately, there are zombie creature cards that actually care about recurring creature cards. Like Gravecrawler, right? Gravecrawler 1 black. Nope, sorry. Gravecrawler black casting cost. Creature zombie 2/1. Gravecrawler. Grave Creditor can't block. You may cast Gravecrawler from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. So it doesn't care about others, actually, but it cares about itself. We'll get to others.
He cares about you having zombies on the field. He's like the Bloodghast of zombies. He keeps coming back.
Which is itself a zombie.
No, it's a vampire. Bloodghast.
Yeah, he's a vampire.
Vampire
We
spirit.
talked about him last time.
He looks like a zombie in his art, but he is a vampire.
Yeah. And then we have Ghoul Razor. This one may be able to get your Mikaeus back. And for 1 and black, you get a creature zombie, 2/2, like so many zombies are. When Ghoul Razor enters the battlefield, return a zombie card at random from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah, so if you desperately want Mikaeus back, you can run, I don't know, maybe an Empty the Pit to delve away all the other cards from your graveyard to make sure he's the only zombie card in your graveyard.
Ow.
Yeah. Delve is a surprisingly powerful ability. As people who have just realised Dig Through Time has been banned in every format apart from Standard and Commander will realise Delve is superb. So this next card I dropped on there because it's often overlooked, probably for good reason. It's the Vengeful Pharaoh. He's 2 and 3 black for a 5/4 Death Touch creature, which is okay. I mean, Death Touch is a bit pointless on a 5/4 creature because, but it's there, thematic. But it also has, whenever combat damage is dealt to you or a planeswalker you control, if Vengeful Pharaoh is in your graveyard, destroy a target attacking creature, then put Vengeful Pharaoh on top of your library. So
I have this in my deck, but I haven't had the chance to play it, so I don't know how good it is.
So there's a danger to it. So on one hand, I've played against this card, and not just you, everybody forgets it's in a graveyard, and you go over and attack, and the player will let the damage through and go, right, kill your whatever big beefy thing you want. You're like, oh, I forgot about the Pharaoh. The flip side of it is not a you may ability, so it's whenever combat damage is dealt, which means if you want your opponent not to draw a card other than their Vengeful Pharaoh, you can go and ping them for a point of damage with a crappy 1/1. Perhaps that fairy off your Bitter Blossom can fly over there and go, yeah, the next card you're drawing is Vengeful Pharaoh. So you do get some control over what your opponent's going to be drawing. If they discard the Vengeful Pharaoh because of any reason, especially if they're discarding it because they're a bit mana screwed, don't have the triple black, then you can sit there and go, oh, right, okay, you're going to be drawing that again, so enjoy that. At the cost of a ping of creature. So yeah, the fact it's not a Yume ability makes it a little dangerous.
All right, he's out.
But give it a go. You need, if you had, I don't know, maybe a black instant spell that could delve him out of your graveyard if you wanted to get rid of him, then I'd possibly run him.
You know, but having a 5 mana death touching 5/4 creature out every turn isn't a bad thing.
Not if it.
If you have the mana to cast him.
If you have the mana and the desire to cast him every turn, and you want to. If your opponent's got a way of killing him, like let's say he's the only creature you've got, and your opponent's making you sack him to, I don't know, Grave Pact, some edict effect.
Sure.
And then hitting you for a point of damage. They're locking you out at the cost of one of their crappy creatures every turn, stopping you drawing anything other than Vengeful Pharaoh.
Yeah. But again,
it is just a danger.
You don't have to cast him either.
That's true. No, you do. It says that you must cast him.
Yeah. So then I think a creature we tend to overlook is Gravedigger.
Oh, that's a great
right.
card.
And this one does allow you to recover Mikaeus directly if you're playing with him, or if you want to pull that Vengeful Pharaoh out before you get slapped again for a point from a fairy rogue. 3 and a black, you get a 2/2 zombie. When Gravedigger enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It's excellent. It's like, no, I think next turn I want to be able to cast that Mikaeus, so I'll just take this one back.
Yeah.
What is in... Oh, I've just worked it out. So he's got sellotape or like gaffer tape around his fingers on his right hand.
Yes.
For years, for me, I was like, is he holding a mug of tea? Is he like holding with a fist?
No.
Clutching
No, he's got duct tape.
I've
He's
got it.
reassembling the stuff that he digs up.
I've got it now, yeah. I'm just being stupid. Maybe I just want to see more people drinking tea.
Yeah, he's holding the somebody's head, right? And the body is sort of dragging down, and he's just wrapping it up, making sure it's all pieced back together.
So
A full coffin, by the way, is like a full coffer. Both are attractive to thieves.
well,
So,
you're so insightful today, Phil.
I suspect I may have many more pithy quotes like this to share with everyone.
Ruh-roh.
So some zombies do damage. What? When they come into the battlefield?
Shepherd of Rot, 1 and a black. 1/1, creature zombie cleric. If you tap him, each player loses 1 life. Each player, that includes you, loses 1 life for each zombie on the battlefield.
Yeah, nasty.
Dangerous. Suicidal.
It's great.
Well, maybe if you're doing a Rakdos Riots zombie
That's right.
tribal.
Is that a thing?
Now that I've said it, it might be.
Well, there are 12 red. There are 12 zombies with red in their casting cost, right?
Yeah, they are.
Not including shapeshifters, changelings.
Like Tori and Mauler.
Oh, yeah.
The best zombie.
I don't know if he's the best, but he's pretty good.
No, you're right. Changeling Colossus, he's the best.
Chameleon
Colossus,
right.
sorry, yeah. Chameleon Colossus, he's the best.
Now, Chameleon Colossus has not a linear effect, but a geometric one.
What?
He's taken the
Nothing.
Michael out of me, yeah.
Is that what
Next
it's called?
card.
Taking the Michael?
It's taking the myth.
Yeah, you should read the next card because he's in the Phyrexian Arena.
Oh, he is. The beautiful Phyrexian Arena. The Vengeful Dead. 3 and a black for 3/2, a creature zombie.
Whenever Vengeful Dead or another zombie is put into a graveyard for play, each opponent loses 1 life.
That's an EDH card.
ah.
If it says each opponent loses, then that's an EDH card.
Yep.
Those who do not learn from their deaths are destined to repeat them, Philip.
Very pithy, sir.
Yes.
Very. And so this guy is one
Tastes
that
like pith.
it's not as powerful as a Kokusho, which would not belong in a zombie deck, or the Grey Merchant of Asphodel.
Which would belong in a bloody zombie deck. He's a zombie.
And absolutely does, yes.
Yeah.
But it's a good effect. And so you're recurring this guy. You're bringing him back and killing him, bringing him back, killing him.
Called Grey Merchant by his proper name, Phil.
Gary.
There you go. That's it.
Sorry, Gary.
I really hope he's the next Thorosian Planeswalker. Doesn't even know why. He's like, why am I? I'm a common. Why have I been made into a Planeswalker? Gary of Asphodel. Hi, guys. And everyone's like, oh, it's Gary. Tybalt, you're back in. Gary's here.
Is this what happens when you get a moving ahead on your performance evaluation?
It's Vault 108 all over again.
Oh, honestly, they called me into the office. I expected to get in trouble because my bag full of coins is split and I was dropping them down the road. But I got promotion. I don't even know why.
It's not even my fault. The dumb bag, it just rips.
They kept killing
all
me
the time.
I thought they were angry, but they kept killing me and bringing me back, and I just kept going, "Hi guys," and everyone said, "Oh, for God's sake!" I thought no one
The
liked
people
me.
in the front office really liked
And
me.
then just one guy, he loved me. He thought I was brilliant, so I guess I'm here now. Listeners, design on all your card makers. Gary of Asphodel, please. I want to see that Planeswalker card.
Yes, we will give a prize to the person who submits
The best Gary
the
of
best.
Asphodel.
That's right, the best altar art where it's just Gary of Asphodel. So our next card is Noxious Ghoul. 3 in black for a 3/3 zombie creature. Whenever Noxious Ghoul or another zombie enters the battlefield, all non-zombie creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. I don't know where that came from.
He looks like,
But-
his artwork, he looks like the Toxic Crusader.
Yeah, he does. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Or some gamma radiation freak.
He's got an extra arm.
Yeah, one of his arms is being
Yeah.
split in two, like one of the Ulamog's brood.
Yeah.
But he's no Undead Warchief as far as extra arms goes.
No, he's
that is
not.
true. He is, some might say that he is plague and death wrapped in one convenient package. Boom.
Let's fire through the next two relatively fast, because I think the theme we're getting is there are lots of utility creatures that do a bunch of damage to people depending on the number of zombies you have.
Yeah, it's probably, zombies is probably second or third to goblins, right?
For this sort of thing, yeah. Soulless one is a 3 and a black to cast a zombie avatar. This was as part of a cycle with Heedless one and Reckless one, etc. Soulless one's power and toughness is equal to the number of zombies on the battlefield plus the number of zombie cards in all graveyards. Nate beat the snot out of me the other night with this card, and I hate him for
Yay.
it. It was ridiculous. It's like, well, I've got to block Grimgrin because he's like a 20/20, but that Soulless one is like a 10/10 as well. Well, that's unpleasant.
And if you have some way to recur your zombies, like with Mortuary Mire or whatever, then Soulless one is a great one to sacrifice to Ghoul Caller Gisa.
Oh, God, yeah. Fantastic. What does Unbreathing Horde do, Guy?
2 and a black creature zombie 0/0, but Unbreathing Horde enters the battlefield with a +1/1 counter on it for each other zombie creature you control and each zombie card in your graveyard. Keep track of that, kids. If Unbreathing Horde would be dealt damage, prevent that damage and remove a +1/1 counter from it.
Yep, very nice. Very, very nice. A pain in the backside to remove without instant speed removal, or spot removal, because damage is always going to live. It comes in with counters, which allows you to do other shenanigans rather than just checking constantly. It's
Does not, as we learned, play well with Machias.
no, because it won't. It automatically loses its Undying with Machias.
Yeah, but Marquesa loves it.
Oh, Machias thinks it's brilliant.
So, since there's a lot of utility in these zombies, surely there must be some tutoring and card drawing.
Yeah, there's Corpse Harvester, 3 black.
Go ahead, Shirley.
Zombie Wizard,
Oh,
3/3. And if you tap him for 1 and a black, sacrifice a creature, and search your library for a zombie card and a swamp card. Reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. You get a land and a zombie. Tutors. Bam.
I think you can run Liliana Vess quite comfortably in a zombie themed deck, as she is the queen of zombies.
absolutely.
Yeah, Liliana is on theme.
Yeah, I think you could get away with that. If you were going really Vorthos, I think Liliana would be fine. This next card's a great one, but slightly suicidal in a zombie themed deck. I can't help but note.
Yeah, it feels like Kothafed.
Yep. Graveball Muse is 2 and 2 black for 3/3 creature zombie spirit. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw X cards and you lose X life. So you necropotence for X, where X is the number of zombies you control. That's not a you may, you have to.
Yes, it's really nasty. If this goes on for too long, and especially if you're winning, right? So it's a win more situation. You actually look for ways to sacrifice her or get rid of her, and hopefully you've got something in hand to take care of her.
Just run Phyrexian Arena, people.
No,
This will kill you.
Phyrexian Rager?
no.
That's what Phil is when they announced that it's Eldrazi versus Phyrexia for the next set.
I will happily play the Eldrazi.
I will happily play Phyrexia. That is a throwdown I want to see. Come on, Wizards, make it happen.
All right. I'll
Nate,
watch and then win.
Nate, you can be in the. You can be allies.
I have to get this out. I have to get this out of my head. It's trapped, and it just is bouncing around and won't stop.
Cool, then.
Feels like caught the Fed.
No. Oh.
Violet.
So there are zombies that make more zombies, like Liliana's Reaver. Speaking of Liliana, right? For 2 and black, you get a creature zombie. It's a 4/3 creature zombie with Death Touch. But wait, there's more. Whenever Liliana's Reaver deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, and you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. This is so rude. Who would ever play this card?
Very
Me.
nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's a good.
Who would
one.
ever seem to play this card in every game?
Yeah, you do play in a lot of decks, Nate.
Well, it's in my hand. What am I going to do?
It's always in his hand, and even though we're using a computer simulation, so I can categorically prove you've not been cheating, it's very suspicious, isn't it, Phil?
It is very suspicious. And this next one's a Dimir. You have to read a Dimir zombie tonight.
I should read one, shouldn't I? I'll read it in my Demir voice. The Lich Lord of Unks. 1. Kill that man. Kill him. Yes. Make him into one of the house guard. It is 1 and a Demir for a zombie wizard. It is a 2/2 creature. 1 Demir and tap. Put. Kill that house guard. Make him into a thrall. Put. I will kill him and defile his corpse. Put a 1/1 blue and black zombie wizard creature token into play, or pay 2 Demir. Target player loses X life, and puts the X cards off the top of his library into their graveyard, where X is the number of zombies you control. Yeah! Killing that house guard, his spirit came back in vengeance.
Jesus. It did. And it came in with a staticky scream.
Yeah, God. So important to note, his second ability is not a tap ability, so you can do it for as many times as you've got 2 Demir.
Yeah. I used to have him
Yeah.
in Mare Bear, but he was 2 mana hungry.
Lynch Lord of Ooks hungers for mana. It's a good card. I would put him. I don't run enough zombies to justify him in my Zav deck.
Right.
In Zombie
Same.
Tribal, I would have him like a hot mess. I would have him up there with Undead
Oh, yeah.
Alchemist as well, for a Zombie Mill deck. Zombie Mill is a thing, actually.
Nate, is he in your Grim Grin deck?
Let me check. Sing a song while I check.
Looking up stuff on whatever Nate uses to keep track of his decks.
Yes, he is.
So the next card.
There are 42 zombies in my Grim Grin deck.
Oh God, that'd be
Good
horrible. with
Lord.
Flesh Dogs. So this next card is a black staple and should be in every black commander deck, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
As should all the Titans that aren't banned in the format. Someone else read this one out. I read Lich Lord.
Grave Titan for black. 6/6. Holy poop.
Excuse me 1 second while I kill my rabbits. I'm going to mute while you read.
He's a creature giant. He has Death Touch. And whenever Grave Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, put 2 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Beautiful artwork on this as well.
Yeah,
this guy-
He's like, you know, when a bunch of kids like stand on each other's shoulders in a trench coat or a suit of armor,
Yeah.
and they're just like falling out eventually. He's just the zombies are falling out of him,
Yep.
That is a
and he doesn't even
ginormous
care.
machete,
He's still
isn't it?
walking.
Yeah, this guy's death in form and function.
Yeah, that's a very accurate way of describing him, Phil. Wherever did you get such inspiration?
He's not even
I
trying
just-
to make zombies. They just fall
I
out.
just, yeah, it's not even his fault. He's like, what? They keep crawling around inside of me.
And whenever he moves, they squeak out of the joints of his armor.
Yep.
Overseer of the Damned, which is a card that I run, but I think might have too high a CMC. It's 5/2 black for a creature demon, but he is zombie relevant. He's a 5/5 flyer, as are many demons. Whenever Overseer of the Damned enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature. Nice. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. Nice. So
Shadowborn Apostles, oh yeah!
well, you drop him and board. You drop him and board wave, don't you, and turn everything into 2/2 zombies on your side of the table, which is excellent.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but 7 mana. 7 mana is a lot.
So then other, it is pretty expensive. I think I've had him in each of my zombie tribal decks and still pulled him. Again, though, the strategy for Ghoul Caller Kisa is bringing creatures out, and when they're done, like when they've served their usefulness, they're actually converted into, in this case, it would be 5 2/2 zombies, right? So there's some play for that, but still 7 mana for the 5/5 flyer. It's hard.
Yeah, that's 6 Shadowborn Apostles, not 7 mana.
Yeah, but then that's not
That's
a zombie
true.
tribal deck if you're doing it as a Shadowborn deck.
Oh wait, I guess you have to pay 1 mana to activate the
so
Shadowborn
it's
Apostles.
still 7,
so-
but it is getting out of your deck. So there you go.
Yeah. So there are some superstars that we have not mentioned. Well, we did mention one of them, didn't we?
One of them's ascended to being a planeswalker, hasn't he?
we name checked both of them so far.
Oh, we did? When did we name check?
Fleshbag
Marauder.
Marauder early on.
Yeah.
Oh, I said it
2
in
and a black.
French earlier. I said Fleshbag Marauder.
Yep. He's a zombie warrior, 3/1, and when Fleshbag Marauder enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature, such as Fleshbag Marauder.
Yeah, he's a great zombie, but he's more keyed in for playing in the sacrifice themed decks, isn't he?
But if you're playing zombie tribal, you still use him.
Yeah,
Right.
I suppose so. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
Edict's always
because
nice.
At the very least, you can trade up for a...
He can kill Narset.
right, you can kill Narset, and you trade one of your 2/2 zombie creatures or your 1/1 zombie wizard tokens into a flesh bag, into a 3/1.
Yep.
With all applicable bonuses. And, of course, then the other one is Gary.
Gary.
Our friend Gary.
So if you're
Gary, will you fix... We fixed that bag already?
yeah, Gary, when
It's
whoever-
windy. There's a lot of wind here, man.
If anyone makes us a Gary Planeswalker, I want a small, maybe 1 paragraph story about how he gained his spark What happened?
Probably involves the mask.
Yeah, probably does.
Jim
That's a great
Carrey
mustache
as
on that mask.
Gary.
We should probably read.
Merchant of Asphodel.
We should probably read Gary. So he's 3 and 2 black for a 2/4 zombie creature. When Gary, Merchant of Asphodel, enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is a devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So surely that's a mythic rare, guys, yeah?
Nope.
No? Not rare, though.
Nope.
Surely. Oh, uncommon? That's ridiculous, uncommon.
Not even uncommon.
Oh my god, it was printed as common. So everyone who
Yeah.
plays standard heavily is super happy this just rotated out of standard.
Yeah, it's what made it's one of the cards that made
Theros.
Mono Black Devotion so powerful early on. This in the Theros block at any rate. And it's really worth noting that Grey Merchant of Asphodel is so specific to Theros that this will never see reprint outside of special sets like the Commander set that it was reprinted in, and maybe other supplemental sets like Conspiracy 2 and whatnot. So we're unlikely to see a casual, reprint of Grey Merchant of Asphodel in one of the 2 sets a year now.
Weird link. This was a card that was so oppressive in my meta when we very first started Commander. It's okay now because everyone's decks are sort of powered up a bit so it can handle a Grey Merchant going off. But it was so omnipotent it got on our list of temporary banned cards with Iona and Deadeye Navigator, and actually led to me emailing Phil in one of his previous ventures, which actually put me in contact with Phil. So if it wasn't for Gary, I probably wouldn't be talking to you now.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary, thanks, man.
Yeah, so there you go. Gary, Iona, and Deadeye Navigator. 3 of the most beloved and welcome cards at any Commander table.
That's right. I remember that email now.
Yeah. So, this next
Yeah,
card...
in fact, Gary
Okay.
and Deadeye are 2 great tastes that go great together.
They are absolutely are. They win a game pretty fast. Iona can bloop right off and burn in a bin. Ugh.
But if you're playing Esper, of course you have Iona, Deadeye, and Gary all hanging out
I
together.
have 2 of them in my Esper deck. Guess which one I don't.
Iona.
This next card, we're going to go a little quick because I've got to go to work in a minute. This is just a very quick notable mention for a good recursion artifact that fits into zombies. Nim Death Mantle, 2 mana for an equipment, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, Intimidate, and is a black zombie. So that's quite cool. But the more important bit, it equips for 4, sorry. When a non-token creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay 4. If you do, return that card to the battlefield and attach Nim Death Mantle to it. Awesome.
It's great.
Yeah. Goes in so many decks, but it super fits into zombies.
And you pretty much do not pay the equip cost because you use it to recur a creature right away.
Yeah, unless you need to swing for lethal with the Intimidate, don't pay the equip cost.
Yeah.
So
you should also do these next 2 cards because they're not quite signature cards for you, but they're pretty close.
For me personally, yeah, I do run these in almost every deck. Living Death, which is one of the most underrated and broken cards in all of Magic, which is 3 and 2 black for a black sorcery, obviously. Each player exiles all creature cards in their graveyard and sacrifices all creatures they control, then puts all creature cards exiled this way onto the battlefield. So everyone switches out their graveyard for what's in play. If you have a Grey Merchant of Asphodel... Oh, I'll read Rise as well, because they're very similar. Rise of the Dark Realms is 7 and 2 black for a sorcery. Put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control.
I don't know if they're similar.
Well, both of them get a ton of creatures into play when you've possibly got an empty board. Now, obviously, Living Death gets your opponent's creatures back out. But there's ways around that. So you run a Bajuka Bog. Normally, you only cast it if it's in your favour, or the enter the battlefield triggers that are coming in are going to win you the game. Grey Merchant of Asphodel is an absolute winner in both of these because he sees all the other black creatures you're putting into play. Even though they all come in at the same time, they are there at the same time, so he sees them all and just says, yeah, I'm going to do like 20 damage around the table and you gain 60 life.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Rise of the Dark Realms, one problem is... Well, basically, the table gets a cycle to to board wipe, and if they don't do that, you win. Normally, you should win off the back of Rise of the Dark Realms. Both zombie themed, and they're pulling stuff out of the graveyard. Living Death's artwork has zombies reburying a living guy, which is sweet, and Liliana being carried aloft on a throne of zombies, like a palanquin of zombies. Badass, both of them.
Yeah, that's great.
And this next card is one that Nate turned me on to.
Yeah.
Although weirdly, Nate used the dragons half of it, not the cards half.
Yeah, would you believe I played this and choose dragons?
You're the only person.
Would you
ever.
believe I played this and choose dragons?
Well, it depends on what else is happening on the board, right?
Well, if I'm
mean,
playing
either one of these
Rakdos
isn't
or
great.
Riots and I want everyone to take damage during my upkeep.
Which is why
That's
he
right.
does it. But normally, most people choose cards. Read the card for us, Nate.
Palace Siege, 3 black. Enchantment. As Palace Siege enters the battlefield, choose cons or dragons. If you chose cons, at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand every turn. Ha ha ha. Or if you choose dragons, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life.
Yeah. So that does what the Volrath Stronghold effect does. Apart from it does it for free in your upkeep into your hand.
Yeah.
Or in Rakdos, it gives you a free Wormcoil engine.
Yeah, it does. And some life, yeah. I forgot to mention with Living Death. Living Death is hilarious if you have Grave Betrayal out as well. Because you not only do you get your creatures out of your graveyard, you get all the creatures that are currently on the table as well.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Synergy!
Synergy in a zombie theme.
All right, so we are almost at the end of the show, and we have talked a lot about our the cards that we would put into zombie decks. We're going to put in our show notes where to find our deck list. Nate has a Grimgrin Corpseborn deck that is positively ferocious. Phil, me, I have a lame Sidisi Brood Tyrant deck. I just couldn't ever get it to work, and maybe I'll keep trying. And I have a decent Ghoul Caller Gisa deck. Sean, did you actually build Thraxamundar?
I did, but he was just basically a rubbish version of Grimgrin. So then I built another Thraxamundar and realised it was just a Voltron deck. And then
It's no longer zombie tribal.
Exactly. And then I built another Thraxamundar, then realised it was just a Sacrifice Edict deck, which is what I already do with other better commanders. So I eventually gave up and wasn't just going to post something for the sake of posting. So imagine Nate's Grin deck, but less play-tested and not as well built. And that's pretty much what I built.
Thraxamundar is a pretty good guy. Thraxamundar is a pretty effective commander in combat, but I think that his abilities lend to a non-zombie tribal approach.
I agree. He is nice because you gain access to red, which gives you haste, which is actually makes a zombie deck, can push a zombie deck over the edge, but I still think Grimgrin's better.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like if you're going to do a zombie tribal Grisy deck,
Grizzy.
Grizzy deck, then you should probably be using the Lord of Tressorhorn.
And Thraxamundar is 7 converted mana cost, which is awkward.
Right.
Yeah. Does mean you get to cast him if there's a Void Winner on the table.
I was just going to say that. That's right.
Okay, so those
All
links
right.
will be in the show notes. Any final thoughts on zombies before we go to message of the week?
Oh, let me do my message of the week first then. Because I have a zombie, Agent of Erebos, which is 3 and a black, enchantment creature zombie 2/2, and he has Constellation. Whenever Agent of Erebos or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, exile all cards from Phil's graveyard.
You know, it took me a long time to embrace the graveyard as an extension of my hand. And you are ruining that.
Graveyard
Yep.
hate goes in cycles in most metas, though, doesn't it? So I have to put
Yeah.
away Jared every so often because it just becomes pointless for a bit. But it means all the graveyard hate cards my opponents are running against my decks that just don't give a flying bloop about graveyards are wasted dead draws. So it does go in little cycles. Nate.
Right.
All right.
Nate.
Yeah, you don't have to play Mare Bear every single time.
He's
No, I
not
can
used him
play
for a
Greel
while.
instead.
You've
Or,
not used Mebear for a while, have you? I haven't seen you anyway.
no.
No. So,
All right.
message of the week.
That is, well, hold on.
Oh.
So that's our zombies. I'm really looking forward to seeing our listeners contribute. So please, after listening to this, tweet at us, post it on Facebook, find us, and send us your zombie deck lists, and tell us what your favorite cards are and how to play, like how you play it, and what made you play it. We do a little thing on Twitter called a hashtag 2-tweet story, where we ask many of our new listeners, where we ask many of our new followers on Twitter to tell us who their favorite commander is, why they chose that commander, and then to tell us a funny story or an interesting story about that commander in play. So if you've got any zombie-related stories, by all means, start telling them to us.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
fourth time's a charm at getting a run at this story. So, listener Charles Moreau wrote to us with a long and well-researched email with references that explain why Phil should run Vorinclex, the Voice of Hunger. Phil will now read some excerpts. Philip, over to you.
Charles Moreau, who is, by the way, at hold on, Twitter name, there he is. He is at Charles_MOR, so Charles Moore. He writes, now I gotta switch. Source is the Rotted Hystrix card, which I had never heard of because, of course, it's a Phyrexian card. And
Praise
I
be
tend to
to
stay away
Phyrexia.
from that.
Praise be to Phyrexia.
It looks like some kind of angry hedgehog or possum, and with open weeping sores, which is probably why it's angry and thrashing at trees. But
all of these cards have flavor text, and that's what we're going on with the source.
So,
he writes, Vorinclex is not following the Phyrexian agenda. He goes around finding the biggest, baddest predators. Then, if he is satisfied with the fight he got, subjects the creature to the glistening oil.
just read the first
It's,
sentence again for me. Or just the first sentence.
That's a bold step. It's a bold step. Vorinclex is not following the Phyrexian agenda. And of course, the flavor text on Rotted Hystrix is Vorinclex had no grand plan. The oil did its own work, evolving creatures into worthy predators. All right. He goes on to say he's also in a bitter feud with Jin Gitaxias. Blue-black have always been the most representative of the Phyrexian ideal.
Yay!
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, see? I knew there was something stinky and slimy about Dimir.
Wait,
And he says that something that both of these have in common is their enmity with green. You could say that by design, Vorinclex is the enemy of the Phyrexian ideal. He's not there for Phyrexia. He is there because Mirrodin is an aberration, and the multiverse has decided to cure it.
well, I can agree that Mirrodin is an aberration. That's why we
And Nate,
cure.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Cure or purify.
Nate, you found some references to this Gitaxian Vorinclexian conflict, right?
Their feud, yes, in the flavor text for Xenograft, Noxious Revival, Thundering Tanadon, and Spellskite.
Ooh.
There are references to their intra-Phyrexian feud.
And so Xenograft says, I despise Vorinclex and his slobberings about evolution. Only I know true progress. And in Noxious Revival, Vorinclex says, dead or alive, my creations are stronger than Jin Gitaxias' American minions. Oh, sorry,
Wait,
septic minions.
Septic.
Sorry, our 2 British listeners and Sean will understand that.
That depends whether our 2 British listeners are au fait with Cockney rhyming slang. Which not all people in Britain are. Yes, you septic fools.
And on Thundering Tanadon, we do not need beakers and vials to test our predators. And then on... Hold on, typing.
Spellskite.
And then on Spellskite... Oh my. Let's show Vorinclex that progress doesn't always need teeth or claws. Malcator, the executor of synthesis. Alright, so far, I'm kind of buying this. Vorinclex is sort of anti-Phyrexian, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And here, he cites the Creeping Corrosion card, where Vorinclex mentions that artifacts are heresy. Phyrexians have always used artifacts. The original Phyrexia was an artificial plane that used biomechanical technologies. Vorinclex considers the Phyrexians' past as heresy. And on Creeping Corrosion, we will reveal the futility of their...
Sorry, Carry. One day when Vorinclex meets Yawgmoth's going to slap him silly. Anyway, carry on.
We will reveal the futility of their heresy by showing them how fragile their relics are. That's Vorinclex. He's become British, too.
Hello.
And Creeping Corrosion destroys all artifacts.
Yeah, look at that. That's a very green thing to do.
Yawgmoth's English. That's well known.
Oh, he certainly is. Yeah. Source Mycosynth Fiend, Vorinclex refuses credit for nature's work? Look at that. I wish I could take credit for it, but nature progresses on its own, just the way it should. And then Relic Putrescence. At the very core of his existence, he is not a person, but a concept of nature made flesh. He loathes his own sentience, and wants to finish his work to return to his primordial form. And on Putrescence, Relic Putrescence, it says, until we shed the curse of sentience, we must endure its grotesque handiwork. Oh. I don't know. I'm pretty convinced.
Whatever helps you sleep at night,
Excellent.
Phil. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I think, Charles, I greatly appreciate what it is you've done for me today.
Oh, God. That means I'm going to be fighting Vorinclex in your decks now. Thanks, Charles.
Well, let's just say I might have to take it for a spin a few times.
Oh, as a representative of Sheldred and Gingitaxius, I'm... Oh, God's sake.
I'm telling you, all this time, I've been doing all right without Phyrexian cards.
I still say...
Phyrexian cards are a crutch.
You're all right with Urabresk because he's a secret mirror conspirator. Elesh Norn wins the war. Sheldred and Gingitaxius are just, cool guys and gals that we want to hang out with. Vorinclex is our pet we keep it back to scare the neighbours' cats with.
Yeah, if your pet is a black bear.
You've not met my cat. He's got the anger of one. Sorry, I swore. He's got the anger of a black bear and the adorableness of a kitten, and combines the two to lethal effect.
So he's a honey badger.
Yeah, he doesn't give a damn.
Well, I definitely have some deck brewing to do after tonight's message from Charles. Thank you, Charles.
Charles, consider yourself only a friend of 2 people on this show. Well, I'm speaking for Nate there. No, I joke, of course.
Seduction accomplished.
It's not accomplished until I use Elesh Norn.
Oh, Elesh Norn, you wonderful, wonderful lady.
So, as you can tell from our love of Charles Moreau, we love our listeners, especially when they expose me, in fact, force me through an intervention-like email to accept a new card. You're a blast. You tell us what you think. You play test decks with us, and that is the best part of this, too. Please take the time to contact us, and if you really like us, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes because, of course, we're back on iTunes. Incidentally, a couple of people wrote to us and were like, oh, so what happened? Did you steal someone's music, or is it, no, it's not. There was nothing nefarious. Nobody sabotaged us as they attempted to do when we first went on YouTube. Nothing else happened like that. No insidious behavior. It was simply we messed up the feed and it stopped going everywhere where feeds go. It did go where feeds go to die, wherever that is, because we couldn't find that. We just reset everything. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes now. It makes us feel better, and we can point to it and say, hey, look at that, to the people who care about these things.
And if it's in an exciting language, we might read it out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes, in fact, we have proven tonight you do not have to write your review in English for us to read it on the air.
Nope.
So our theme song was created for the podcast by Nate Burgess. And I have already heard our theme song, and I know that Nate has done something very special with this one. Our logo was created for the podcast by Mr Picto with assistance from Kelle DeLuca. Special thanks to our tech whizzes Jessie.
Have another run at that sentence, Phil.
Yeah, that one ended kind of weirdly.
Yeah.
Special thanks to tech whizzes Jessie and Graham, and of course to Justin for his server space. You can reach us by going to our website, which is Commanderin MTG.com. Our email is cast@Commanderin MTG.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, MTGcast.com, and Reddit by searching for Commanderin MTG Podcast. Individually, on Twitter, I'm at Ketjack.
I am at Copain26.
I'm at Nate Burgess.
No, you're not.
Did you just get a new Twitter handle?
I'm at Mr. Plorg.
Yes, you are. And that, gentlemen, as they say in this part of the world, is our show.